Welcome back to Unforeseen Heroes, a Pathfinder 2nd Edition actual play. Last session, we concluded Act 1 of the campaign, as our heroes rescued a kidnapped elder and thwarted a dangerous ritual. Now, driven to understand a demon-attracting artifact, they are headed to the mainland, looking for assistance from a contact in the Pathfinder Society. We begin one day out to sea, as Vanarel skillfully navigates the boat. The splash of the wave, the cries of the seabirds, a stiff wind making efficient sailing. What do we see and hear?
Well, Vanarel is at the captain's wheel. Rarely have you seen that doofy smile leave his face ever since we left port. Again, just kind of assuming his place there. Vanarel is a elf ranger by trade, but right now sailor through and through. The green tinged skin denotes that Bromar heritage he's got, and he's just loving life right now, even though he knows he'll eventually have to give the boat back. But he's been commanding but not overbearing, just trying to keep everyone's energy up and the excitement that he's feeling, trying to spread that to his other companions who are here.
Dezi would be out, kind of gazing over the side. Their red hair kind of probably pretty tousled by the wind and not exactly brushed at this point. They're gazing out at the water. They've got their Arctic fox companion Nat Quick at their side and are kind of chatting more to themselves, but partially to the fox. Kind of musing over their companions and
whatnot. Libby is laying in a hammock that's stretched from the mast to the side of the boat, and she's been lazing about and letting her bee take care of any chores that she's been assigned. Anytime anyone asks her to do something, she actually just sends Bumblebee in to go do it for her. She complains all the time about having to hold this artifact that's slowly sapping her brain. She's definitely using it as an excuse to not do anything.
And sitting up towards the front of the ship, there is a tall, muscular, broad-shouldered orc warrior leaning against the gunwale. He has jet black hair, a thin, well-trimmed beard running along his jawline, wearing darkened and oiled plate and leather armor. Seems like he's almost kitted for coastal fighting and things like that. You can see he's holding, like, kind of across his shoulder, a large one-handed axe with this jagged, like, broad axe head to it that you see occasionally kind of puts down to his side, pulls some oil, and just kind of occasionally oils the handle, make sure that none of the salt water is getting on any of his equipment, and taking good care of it here. But as he kind of stands at the front, he is keeping his eyes on the horizon and watching for anything within the water.
You've been sailing for, a little bit more than a full day. You would have had to put in overnight near a cove somewhere. This is now the second day of travel. How is that affecting any of the characters? This is maybe a new experience for some and old hat for the others, as we know for Vanarel and Daegron at least. You've been to and from the mainland. But Dezi and Libbiel, is this your first boat voyage? How are you seeing it?
Well, I think for Libby, it's actually more of her second. But the first one was when she was very young, which is, over 100 years ago. So she hasn't really been aware enough to enjoy a boat ride. That said, it doesn't seem to affect her at all. She's just trying to sleep. If anything, the gentle swinging of her hammock is actually helping her get even more of a peaceful nap.
Desi is probably a bit bored. He's probably saying to Natwick, "Yeah, I know we worship the open road in journeys, but sea journeys are kind of boring. I mean, I'm glad Vanarel's enjoying himself." Natwick kind of yaps back a bit in a fox type way. But that's good. I mean, I'd like to help out more, but I'm just not strong enough for that. I'm better off with my crossbow. Taps the crossbow slung across his back.
And
Daegron,
I believe you guys would see Daegron is at the front still for most of this, almost lost in it. Like, I don't think any of you would have seen him as almost relaxed as he seems to be sitting up here. Definitely something he did not expect he was going to get, at least this close in his life. So I think he's just taking in the time that he has up here where it's quiet.
and Daegron, you said that you were, keeping an eye out around. Give me a perception check.
So blind perception check here.
The wind begins to lessen and the boat slows. Suddenly, you do hear screeches from the water as a trident lodges itself in the side of the boat, and you see 3 shark heads with arms appearing on the sides of the boat. And we will be rolling initiative here. Let me toggle you all in. Go ahead and roll your initiative. Oh, how did that only get 2 of you? Let me get the rest of you. What did I miss? I missed... Got all 3 of you. Missed the enemies.
I'm going to tag Libby with prone.
Yep, that's fair. You've been sleeping in a hammock.
And somehow you're still more alert than I am.
Not a single one of these is going to damage the ship.
So,
They have already done so.
yeah, there's already a harpoon in the side. So up first is one of the ones on the port side. That's over here if you're not used to nautical terms. And it is going to start off by swimming and leaping onto the boat. Well, let's see if it actually does. It only manages to grab on, and it does not get on the boat. It needs to spend another action. And surprisingly, it is still hanging on the side of the boat. It tries one more time and manages to get onto the boat proper. It does look like this is the one that does not have a long spear or a javelin. This is the one that you saw that threw onto the boat to start combat. They look something like this. It's a weird, not quite a shark head, almost a lizard or a dragon head on a very shark-like body with limbs. They do look vicious. They have lots of protruding teeth and a red mane. But that was that one's turn. Vanarel, what are you doing?
Vanarel is going to shout out that there are boarders on the ship. I mean, probably pretty obvious with the harpoon sticking out of the side. But he is going to quickly just sort of tie the wheel in place. There's usually like a strap or something to hold the wheel in place. I don't know if that will cost an action, but he's not going to let the boat go completely, like, just drift to wherever.
Yeah, that will cost probably 2 actions to get that set up.
That's fair. And then he is just going to, with his one remaining action, just get down here. Weapons still sheathed, but let's get down here to defend against these others that are trying to come on board.
Dezi.
Desi's a little concerned that right now the thing standing between himself and that big thing is his little fox. So I think he's going to spend an action to tell Natwick to kind of step away cautiously, then run. Let's see. Now, quick, get out of here. Be careful. And I don't like this thing either. I think we will start by just pulling out a crossbow and maybe shooting at the one in the water.
That is going to miss. The bolt goes just kind of ricocheting off the water before sinking into the depths. And up next, the larger one on the starboard side. Looks a little more vicious. This one is going to start off by throwing the harpoon at Vanarel. And it looks like that is going to hit
That'll do it.
for 12 points of damage.
Ow. That hurt. They're still pointy. Okay.
And then it is going to swim and try to climb up on the deck. And this one makes it on this turn. That was its turn. And the final one on the port side will also try to get on the boat. This one gets on there successfully. It has one action left and is going to try to bite Dezi. It tears a piece out of you for 9 points of damage. And, yep, that's it. That's all that happens. Libbiel.
Libbiel is going to try to swing out of a hammock and stand up. I assume that eats an action, like
One
standing
action.
up or prone.
Yep.
And she realizes that perhaps casting this closely would be a bad idea. So she's going to take a step back, get some space between her and the assailants, and then put up a shield for herself.
Daegron.
Okay, looking back towards the crew, am I able to get to this space here? In between the two?
Yes, you can get
Yeah.
there.
Okay.
You'd have to do the two diagonals to go around the center mass. So do you have the movement for that?
I have 25, so I might have to just go to one of these, I guess. Okay. Well, I'll go here first, and I believe I should be able to do this, a reposition on this one here. An athletics check against their fortitude DC. Let's see here.
Just be aware the through obstacles would count the walls of the ship. So you can't throw them off the ship with that ability.
You also can't
Okay.
reposition into a threatening space. You can maybe shove
Oh,
them.
okay. So it needed to be shoved. That's why I wanted to get there, but I won't be able to this turn. So he'll, with his second action, his axe would have been at his side. He's going to lift that up, and then his third is he'll swing down with a snagging strike on this here. This is the Orc Neck Splitter.
That's a crit.
Well, that's a crit to start us out. That's good. Not great damage, but 18 points slashing.
And it's
And that'll
off
be a
guard
snagging
until...
also? Yeah. So my turn.
Okay.
That'll be all three.
It's one of theirs turn. It is that one's turn. It is unhappy about that. It's going to hiss at you, but it's going to move away.
All right. Well, as it turns its back,
That will hit again.
Didn't target it.
Yep. It does lose the off guard after it moved away, but your attack went off first before that happens. Because that does break the... Oh, never
Yes.
mind. That does kill it. So it did not move away. So much for that idea. Vanarel.
Okay. Well, Vanarel is going to draw one of his hammers, and we're just going to focus on clearing the deck here. So I'm going to take one big step towards this one here, who's against the port side, and I'm going to place a large boot right by its collarbone, try to shove this thing off the ship. Keep on going.
So that would be against its Fortitude DC. I am giving it a bonus because of the wall of the ship, the gunwale. That is not going to be a success for that.
It's not.
It was
Okay.
very close.
All right. Well, since he's already pressed up against the walls, I will just take the one hammer that I do have, and I will pummel him a single time. Haven't called hunted prey, but still don't like him.
That will miss
Oh, that's going to hit the railing, and I'm going to have to fix that later.
very much. Dezi.
Dizzy's a little concerned, but I think it's going to stay where they are because they want to stay between themselves. Oh, I don't have that part. Okay. Oh. Yes. So, no, yeah, I'll stay where I am. I'm going to mutter some occult words, and a shield will spring up in front of me. And I don't really like this thing that close, but I think I'm going to actually cast... I'm going to mutter a prayer to the open roads and ask for their blessing. And a spiritual hammer will appear by my side. It looks like a big war hammer. We're going to send it after, I guess, the one right in front of me.
And it will miss.
These rules are not liking me for my ideas.
And the
Okay,
wind has picked back up. Vanarel, if you hadn't secured the helm, things would have gotten a lot trickier. But good call there ahead of time. I'm going to give that a bonus hero point right now. I had that scripted, and you worked around it ahead of time. So,
I'm a sea
Nice.
captain worth my salt.
yep. The larger one, though, is going to step into the flank on Vanarel and is going to try to bite you as well, given that it already threw its trident. Uh, 24 to hit. Looks like that's a solid hit.
Yep.
For 7 points of damage, including some persistent bleed, and it flies into a rage at that effect. It has a blood frenzy going on. We're having blood in the water or blood in the air, as the case may be here. It will then try a claw against you as you see madness overtake its eyes.
Oh boy.
And it's going to hit again with the claws for an additional 11 points of damage and non-stacking persistent.
Okay, these guys know how to dig into. Ouch.
The other one that also has flanking on Vanarel is going to go for Vanarel as well. Trying to bite you.
Really glad I'm everyone's favorite today.
And it hits you again. This may drop you. I don't know.
Only because
You have 1
I-
HP.
Or ferocity.
my orc ferocity is kicked in. It's the only thing keeping me on my
Oh.
feet right now.
And that one also gets to enter its rage. And it's going to go for you because you're still up. It doesn't know any better.
Not this ship, pal.
It misses and tries its third one. It manages to hit you.
Well,
I
can't do
believe
anything
that
about
will
that.
drop you now, and you will go
That-
straight to
Dying two
dying
with
2. Yep,
Will.
with persistent damage. Let me put Vanarel there on initiative, and it is Libbiel's turn. You have seen the captain of the ship go down. You've seen one of these enemy sharks or shark people become killed, and the other two seem like they're stronger than ever.
I'm not going to drag the ire, the big one. I'm going to go for the smaller one, and I'm going to hit it with an electric bee sting. Oh no!
That is a miss, so we only get the electricity damage.
Here we go. The electricity damage.
That's 2 points. I'll apply that directly. It doesn't know how to do that right. There we go. You have 1 action remaining.
And for my final action, I will withdraw my Staff of Air, and I'll hold it in my hand.
Daegron.
Okay, seeing Vanarel go down there, he's going to charge forward and body check the Sea Devil here and try to shove him off. So that'll be a...
Which one are you targeting?
Go.
Just so I know.
the one to the right-hand side of Vanarel, so shoving this
Got
way.
it.
Athletics here?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to reroll this.
Okay. Even with the bonuses I'm giving, that is sufficient. That one is possibly off the boat. It does get a reflex save to grab an edge here. It does have its hands free.
Yep,
It is hanging on to the side of the boat.
good enough. At least we'll deal with some actions. He's then going to turn and then swing the axe towards the standing one. Oh, that was through that one. Let's 18 to hit.
That will hit.
Ooh, bad damage roll. 8 points of slashing. That'll be all 3.
Dezi.
Well, yeah, this doesn't seem great. So I think we are going to make sure that Vanarel is okay first. I don't want to do this. Yeah, I will cast say a prayer to the blessings of the journey and try to cast a 2-action heal on Vanarel.
$25 healing back to Vanarel. You are now wounded 2.
And with my last action, I'm gonna sustain the spiritual weapon and see if I can't hit this one that's in front
You cannot.
of me. Yeah, no. No hitting.
The one hanging off the side of the boat is going next. It's going to try to climb back on. The DC has gone up with the increase in the weather. But it makes it back on board. That was 1 action. It has 2 actions remaining. Vanarel looks down, so he's going to close on Dezi and try to bite Dezi here. And that is going to crit Dezi. For 34 points of damage and some bleed. Are you still up?
No, I'm unconscious.
You are dying 1 with persistent bleed. I will move your initiative. Actually, it's right where it needs to be. Okay. We are over to Vanarel, who is now conscious. Dropped your weapons, lying prone.
My eyes opened just in time to hear Dezi hit the floor. Well, I am going to stand. Leading over to grab my weapon as well. And yeah, with this third action, so this big guy needs to be dealt with. So the one is immediately to the south of me is going to be my new focus here. Still haven't had an opportunity to hunt prey on anyone, but I'll try to clock that one. Hopefully, if they're unconscious. Well, that'll do the trick. We'll catch them in the temple for at least a little something.
Yeah, hits for solid hit there. Until you've churned through most of its rage-filled temp HP and got through to some actual HP there. And also, Dezi, viewer gave you an extra hero point. I believe you're up to 3 hero points now. So,
Yeah.
you have them. You got to use them or lose them at some point now.
I mean, I'm bleeding, so even if I stabilize, it's not going to help. Yeah.
Yep. And at the end of your turn, you take 2 points of bleed damage, Vanarel, and you do not stabilize. The small one is up next, and it is going to... I think it's going to go for Vanarel again.
Glad we become such close friends.
It hits you again. For 9 points of damage. It tries another one. It crits.
Oh my gosh. All right.
For 20 points. Are you down again?
Wait a second. My armor class is 20. That shouldn't have been a crit at 28. Oh, that's a roll. Did I roll a natural 20?
It was a natural 20, yes.
Oh, okay. Then, all right, okay. Nothing about that. I don't know. Let's find out. Yep.
Yes. So, I believe, do you have Die Hard?
No, but this puts me at dying 3 because this is the second time I've gone down.
No, you were dying 2. You were wounded 2 and a crit.
I've
That
only gone
would-
down once, though.
Use Orc Ferocity.
Orc Ferocity put
Yeah.
you to wounded 1 before you dropped. You came back up, you were wounded 2.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yep,
Yeah.
my bad.
So
Okay.
I think you need to spend a hero point or you are dead.
Oh, then I will spend my hero
Actually, you'll
points.
spend all your hero points. Yep. So all
Yeah.
your hero points. You are still wounded 2, no dying condition, stable. And the wounded did not go up to wounded 3 because that does not change when you spend the hero points. So that's still just wounded 2. There you go. Okay.
I see. The custom art was the kiss of death.
It might be. I think it has 1 action remaining. So it's going to try to bite Daegron. Or no, claw at Daegron. And horribly miss. Libbiel.
Libbiel is going to shift over and just to eliminate some issues that are on board. She's going to target this one with the staff bear and use the Gale Blast.
Okay, so it's a 5-foot emanation. So you could hit... You can hit the one you're aiming for and not hit any allies. I think. Wait. I don't think that works the way you think it does. It's based around yourself, it looks like, right? So it's a 5-foot area surrounding you, it looks like.
Okay.
Am I
so
reading that right?
I need
5-foot emanation, no range, so it's a point-blank AoE around you.
Oh, okay. So I need to get closer for that. I guess I could. Yeah. Okay. Let's
If that
Instead of
changes what you want to
doing
do,
that-
you can roll back your move if that changes things.
No, I still have to move for this one. We're going to continue my move all the way up to here, though, to use gust of wind. We're going to hit him with this instead.
Okay, and you're going for which one?
This one right here.
Can you long press? Okay, there we go. Thank you. Perfect. Okay, that one. So it's going to roll its save. It got a success, so it can't move against the wind. No damage, it looks like. Okay. Yep. So it can't move closer to you. Daegron.
Okay, start the turn off here. He is going to, let me see if there's anything. Don't know if a demoralize will be worth it or not. His intimidate isn't the strongest yet. I think he's just going to have to go in with the axe and hope he can get some work here. So first swing.
That's a solid hit for 14 points of damage.
Second one.
That
Don't
will
think
miss.
that's going to get it. And he'll go fish for the third.
And that will miss.
Ooh, another 7.
Dezi, give me your recovery roll. I think that's the right order. I forget their order of persistent damage versus recovery rolls.
I'll spend a hero point to reroll
Okay, you have 3,
If
so
you
that makes
spend
sense.
if you spend a hero point, you can just
You have to spend
it.
all your
No,
hero
I'm
points
better
to
off
stabilize.
spending.
So he has
I
3.
cannot reroll that with a hero point for some reason.
Just roll another d20 then. It's fine. You were dying 2, so that is not a success. So that would increase to dying 3.
Okay, I'm at dying 3.
And then you
take
take persistent damage,
I
and
have
that's
to
when you
stabilize.
spend. Yep,
Yeah. I have no hero points, and I'm still bleeding, I believe.
that is correct. But the wounded value should not increase. I don't know why you're wounded 1. That would not increase when you stabilize here. There we go. Okay. The Brute is up next. And the Brute is going to go for Libbiel.
Yeah, I figured. I was kind of hoping it would step forward into a to go to Daegron, but I figure it was a risk.
Actually, Daegron has been the bigger threat. Let me at least do a random roll on that. 1 and 2 is Daegron, 3 and 4 is Libbiel. It's staying on Libbiel.
That's fine.
Going for the bite. And it hits
Of course.
for 15 points. But
Ouch.
no bleed, because that was not a crit and you're not flat-footed. It then tries a claw. And hits as well
Yeah,
for minimum damage.
that's minimum damage.
Yes. The rage hurts.
Okay.
You are dying 1 as well. Ooh. This is not going well. And its last action, it will try to step up. The gust is still there, so it will need to give a fortitude save. That is going to be a failure. So what happens on a failure for your gust of wind?
Failure, then creature is knocked prone.
Knocked prone. Okay.
And honestly, it doesn't. I guess the damage only is a critical failure.
It looks like it is only, yes. And I need to find this guy. There he is. So there are 2 prone bodies in Vanarel's space right now. Vanarel, you are currently, what is your status? You are stable but no hit points. So you are, nothing is happening. Aside from the fact that you're taking persistent damage. So you take 3, and that will put you to dying 3. And you did not stop your bleeding.
Nope.
I just skipped over the scout. So the scout has one target up on boat. Daegron. It is attacking
Mhm.
you. It hits. Tries a second one. Misses. Tries a third time. Misses. Can you turn this around, Daegron? Everyone is
All
on the
right,
ground
well,
around you.
The one that is seems weak, he's going to swing at that was just attacking him.
And a hero point for Daegron came in from the
That's
crowd.
a crit
That is a crit.
for 24 points.
I suspect that will finish that one. Let me apply it. That one is dead.
He swings down, trying to
I'm
avoid
gonna I'll move
Vanarel.
Vanarel so it's easier to target.
Okay, and on the second hit, oh, this should have a +1 also. We're re-rolling that.
Okay.
So
That
22
is
to
a
hit.
hit.
Okay, that is going to be
10 points.
10 points of damage. And then he will, with a third attack, try to get it again while on the ground. Ooh,
That will hit.
natural 19 for forceful on this second hit. So 2d8 plus 6. Oh,
Minimum
snake
damage.
eyes.
That was your
points.
3. Dezi, you are stable but unconscious, I believe.
Yeah, that's so that's
Libbiel, you are dying. Give me a flat check. You've increased your dying level. Dying 2. The brute is going to stand up.
I will swing at him.
You hit him.
For another 13 points of slashing.
He is not happy about that. He is going to try to bite you, Daegron. Second action. He crits. $26 damage and you're bleeding. You are still up.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah, he's going to go for the last attack. He has no reason not to. He misses. Vanarel, you are in really bad shape right now. You are dying
Sure am.
3. You are bleeding. And you have no hero points remaining. So, it all comes down to this recovery roll, I believe.
Dice never lie.
DC 13 flat check. Or you lose your captain here. Okay. That tips it back to dying 2. Then you take your bleed damage and it goes back to dying 3.
Yep.
That was probably the one round you're going to get like that. If you don't get some healing on you, I think we're in really bad shape. Daegron, what can you do?
All he can do is keep swinging away and hopefully put this guy down before he dies. With a big overhand, he comes down.
That hits.
Another 11 points. And on a second one, oh, not great. I don't think there is any other option here for what he can do. Yeah, he just has to go for the third and pray. Oh,
That misses.
I feel that was so close.
Okay. Dezi, Nothing happens. Libbiel, flat check. Libbiel was rolling a flat check and got a success, so is back to dying 1. Were you dying 3 to start with?
No, just dying 1.
So you should be actually no longer. You're just unconscious now, no longer dying. You are wounded 1. Got it. Okay.
Okay.
And the devil, sea devil, is going to try to flee at this point. You have pushed it past. You've defeated both of its hunting parties. It is going to try to run. Do you swing at it, Daegron?
I don't think he swings. I think he's pretty much up against the mast, barely hanging on. And like as he sees it like leave, he like lurches down towards Dezi, where he knows he has a potion on his.
Well, wait for your
belt
turn,
here.
though. It's gonna. We have to get through Vanarel, which is the problem. Vanarel,
Yes, yes.
another DC 13 flat check.
All right. The rolling waves are just knocking Vanarel back and forth to an area where he can clot.
And Vanarel has died. Daegron, what do you do?
Okay, he stumbles forward, and like I said, he's going to reach for the potion on Dezi's belt. I don't know if he'd be able to tell
it's
if.
there. I told you before I have it in the pocket. I would
Yeah,
have it pointed out. So
yeah,
Are you
I just
grabbing it
pointed
and
it out to
feeding
us
it to
many
me,
times.
or-
I'm feeding it to you because I don't think he can even tell who's alive around him right now, and you're the only one who can heal people.
Okay. We will be out of combat. I believe your persistent bleeding with Dezi up will be solved.
in
No one
fairness,
else.
I'm immediately using a 3-action heal. 'Cause
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll that.
I also do not know who is alive and dead. So
9 points of healing to everyone. You do not see Vanarel's chest begin rising.
no. Desi's fairly stunned right now. What happened? Oh no! What? I'm gonna go over to try to examine Vanarel to see if there's anything to be done. Though this is honestly more Vanarel's area of expertise with the medicine. I'll still try. Ugh.
So you were trying to treat wounds or just investigate what's happening?
Just figure out if Vanarel's dead.
Yeah, even
Or,
with the
like,
crit,
it's-
I'm going to say you can tell he's dead.
Okay.
That's not going to be...
Yeah.
I think Daegron's kind of like almost like on the deck of the ship, just sitting there like panting, and he looks over and sees Vanarel has not moved yet, and his hand on the axe just kind of like tightens to where it almost like you can hear like a slight like splintering, before he like reaches for some bandages to try to flavor bandages, because he doesn't got medicine, to try to patch his wounds, so he doesn't die here on this ship.
Desi's gonna say a prayer about. You can see like tears are coming to his eyes. About sometimes our journey along the road ends early. It's not fair. And he's just really conflicted because he knows this is the right that he should say over the body, but it just doesn't feel right to him, even though, you know, this is his duty as the. What are we gonna?
Keep your prayers, Dezi. We're going to Magnimar. I don't know how we'll get the money together, but we bring him. How far away from Magnimar are we?
You're guessing a day, maybe 2,
Okay.
but you're not sure how well you're going to be at
Yeah,
steering
exactly.
this boat. So it might take longer given that.
I will say there is someone on board who has navigational experience.
Who is that?
Daegron's brother.
Oh.
He's not in good shape, but he has experience. But either way, he continues like, we fought and bled with Vanarel. We can't just abandon him here and say it's all over.
I'll do my best to preserve his corpse. Starting with tomorrow, I can't do that today, but I'll make sure nothing happens to him for the rest of our journey.
The wind is picking back up. How are you steering the boat?
I don't know.
I can steer the boat. Yes.
I mean, I don't know. I honestly, in game, without sailing lore, is there a way to pilot a boat? Is there a skill associated with that?
If you don't have anything for it, I would probably allow athletics to just handle the wheel under someone else's direction. I would
Yeah, I can
maybe
do that.
allow survival for steering and navigating. It might be a team effort at this point where you need, someone using survival, someone using the athletics, maybe someone, doing crafting or, thievery as a stand-in for some of the rope work.
No, never mind.
Libby, maybe do the work on the crafting and making sure everything is in good repair.
Okay, fine.
I'll take care of the navigation portion if you can do the steering.
Toss the bodies overboard, except for Vanarel's, of course.
Vanarel would appreciate that.
Yeah, Dezi, you're having an okay time understanding where you have to go. And we need Daegron, you're
Mastering
handling the wheel.
26s.
You might not know all of the proper ways to do it, so you're brute forcing your way through it. There might have been ways of releasing some of the ropes and making things more efficient. You don't know those tricks, but you're able to hold the course across the weather. Give me also a D20 roll for your brother's kind of advice. It's more actually how lucid is he right now? Yes,
Yeah, more
and
than anything.
he's able to give you a few bits of knowledge. Not a lot, but he is helping. He, and the three of you, with a little bit of Catherine's help, eventually you see in the distance, you do see the lights of Magnimar. You see, let me show you the whole picture of the city as you're coming into it.
I'm gonna fix up the boat before we get in, magically.
Give you some visibility on this. I don't have permission to do that on that one. Let me do it here. There you go. Here is the city you are sailing into. And as you approach, you see numerous rowboats acting as assistant harbor masters, calling out to you, trying to get information from you. We don't know you. Where are you coming from? Where are you going?
I'm going to activate the cantrip bullhorn so they can hear me clearly. We're travelers from afar trying to return a vessel to, I don't know the guy's name. I don't think it was ever a point
Were we
for
given
us
the
to
name
go.
for who we were returning it to?
Yes.
Yeah, we have his
let me see, double
exact
check.
name.
Yeah.
It was Ser Groberas. He was one of
Ser-
the younger scions of the ruling family here.
Sarah Goberas, which was found, well, found by us, and we're just bringing it back to him after we've been in touch. He should be waiting in the harbor for us.
Ah. Oh, is this the lost trading vessel? Yes, we were told to watch for it.
If you have a skilled navigator or sailor on board, one of our best sailor fell during the trip. Maybe pulling into the dock, it might help.
I relay that through Bullhorn.
Oh, you have no captain on board? You have
He
no pilot?
died in a confrontation with some shark people who bit us a lot.
Ah, invasion of the sea devils. They
Yeah,
are
them.
nasty this time of year. Yes, hold where you are. If you know how to drop your anchor, please do. If not, lower the sail. We will get a pilot out here to have you come into port.
I assumed
Daegron,
we could figure
can
out
you-
dropping a.
Yeah, Daegron knows how to drop an anchor. He's been used as manual labor on a ship before.
So,
can you
you know,
drop the heavy thing? I'd do it, but
a good maybe 30 minutes passes before they seem to get a pilot out to you who, orders you around, gets the anchor back up, trims the sail a little bit better, and does get you into port. You're directed into one of the docks. You see a small swarm of children sitting on one of the sea walls watching. 2 go running off at the sight of your vessel. And as you're tying off, you see 2 men approaching. One has well-fitted noble's garb, but a wild beard that doesn't match the tidy appearance. The other has a weather and age-worn face, white hair, balding, and a well-used uniform over chainmail. The older man gestures politely for the other to go first. After you, Sir Groberos, you have priority. And the noble-looking man definitely arrives. You see a whole swarm of sailors and porters behind him carrying all manners of supplies. He looks around, latches on to Daegron as the most authoritative-looking person. You, man. Acting captain? Yes?
Of sorts, I guess.
Ah, good job getting here. You've made good time. Anything to report?
Sea devils attacked on the way in. One of our companions didn't make it.
Oh. I'm sorry. Here.
Is there any?
He hands you a small bag containing what looks like about 100 silver pieces. I'm sorry about your friend, but I need to get this vessel turned around. Can you get you and your people off the boat quickly?
Dezi's
Yes, just give us a few minutes.
Dezi is giving there's a bit of a trying not to death stare at the guy who's just like, oh, sorry about that. Get everything off the boat, please. But I mean, to some extent, understood. But,
Libby looks at the bag of 100 silver and goes, "Oh, pigeon feed. Great."
You can tell he actually had 2 bags on him, and he gave you the larger bag. So you think he is trying to be generous, but is very nervous and very worried about his own timetables. And you can tell he is not used to dealing with death directly. And
I will, Daegron, can you help me carry Vanarel off the ship? That seems like our priority.
Yeah, he helps get Vanarel off, and then Calden, who's not infirm, can still walk a little on his own. After that, he helps carry their things and gives him a shoulder as they go off. And for any of you who hadn't seen him as he came on the ship, you see that there is another full-blooded orc. Looks to be about the same age as Daegron, but where Daegron is bulky and muscular, you see he is almost wiry thin, but still standing about 6'2", 6'3", even though he's a bit hunched over right now. kind of wrapped up in some clothing as he is being kind of supported as they come down the gangplank from the ship.
Am I right that the person who initially approached us is out of earshot and there's somebody else waiting for us? Is
Yes, that is
where we are?
correct.
Yeah, I will say to the other person, and who are you? Are you going to, hand us a handful of silver for our friend's death? I can tell Dezi is a bit bitter here.
Yes, the other person looks like this. Yep, there we go. Oh, I'm sorry. I was trying to give you some space. Please, don't mind Sir Grobras. He is more used to the stress of trade deals and ship schedules and late shipments and early shipments and things of that nature. He has never done well when his own crew has had problems. It does look like... Oof, I am sorry. Oh, I am Kanavin Heidmarch of the Pathfinder Society. I was told you had business with us, and I was here to escort you to our lodge. And I see there are problems here, though. How can I help before we deal with whatever brought you to Magnimar in the first place?
Well, for the time being, we are very new to this area. First time out of Osprey, I am sure you understand. Is there if you could either provide a guide or just find us a place to lodge for a while?
Oh,
One that's
we
within
can
our
put you
budget.
up for a couple of days at least. Most of our agents are out and about, and our guest house is open for at least 3 days. After that, we might
think
need to
that's
refer
our-
you to an inn, but we can definitely help you out with that.
Yeah, I think that's our primary concern right now is where we're going to be resting and eating tonight. We also would like to honor our dead. If you could guide us to the nearest.
If you're able to preserve the body for today, I can make preparations to preserve it until we're ready to do what needs to be done.
Yes. I am less good with... I am logistics man. I handle making sure all of our agents are well equipped and well supported. I can find what you need. Please follow. Well, should I send for some porters as well to help carry your things?
That
I
would be helpful, especially with us being reduced in capacity. I'm sorry. It's been a hard journey. You did nothing to affect. I appreciate you giving us some space too.
I will be back. Wait here. He does gesture maybe off to the side, a little bit off the wharfs. There's a small green space. You can't even call it a park, but it's a tree. There's a place to sit around it. It's out of the way of all the sailors coming and going. I will be back with whomever I can find or whoever I can constrict. And he wanders off with a sense of urgency. You can tell he'll be back soon. Is there anything that you want to discuss among yourselves before he arrives back?
Libby looks at
Yeah.
the other two and is being very pragmatic when she says, I think we're going to need to recruit even more help. I know it's kind of oh, we're replacing him already. We don't have the luxury of being sentimental about this. Not when this thing summons demons.
Since Daegron mentioned it, I'd like to kind of make a check about what I know about generally bringing the dead back to life, particularly, given that cost is a concern.
Yeah. I think he was very much bringing it up as he has no clue what the cost of these kinds of things would be. He just knows there are powerful magics out there that could maybe do something.
Okay, let's see. So Dezi, you would know that, raised dead is a thing, but it is rather rare and very expensive usually. From your knowledge, It is a type of thing that only like, true like high priests of big temples would have. And you would think Magnimar might be large enough to have someone of that nature. But it does tend to be, 1,000 gold-ish is kind of the ballpark that you're thinking of. Might be a little less, might be a little more, depending on, your connections to that church. And, if you have favors you can cash in or things of that nature.
I don't know we could afford this even if we sold all our equipment. And
Wow.
it would be a very pricey thing. I think Vanarel, I don't know what to do. Daegron, I'm so sorry.
Do you think we could make a deal with the Pathfinders or something? I know it's a lot of money, but
I don't think that's within our power either. We need to ask for trading favors, which we don't have with them.
We're newcomers here. I'd like to do this if we'd be able to, but I'm also worried that would put us at a big disadvantage of keeping other people safe with this horn.
You also are aware of a lower cost option of reincarnate. That's a little easier and a little more common. It is significantly cheaper. You think on the order of 100 gold pieces, but you never know what ancestry will come back.
I don't know I don't know what Vanarel would want either.
I listened for
Well,
his ghost.
That's slightly easier to do is asking the dead.
Hear a whisper on the wind, almost as if to say, I'm totally okay with that.
Which that? The reincarnate part? Which
Or
that?
or would leave you dead part. The dead are so cryptic.
We only get 3 questions. Don't ask them all at the same time.
Honestly, I think I can do the 100 gold if I just sell my wands.
Yeah, this might be obviously player agency comes into effect here, so we'll have to be talking to Vanarel about this outside.
Yes.
This
Vanarel, would you want them to try a reincarnate? You're 100% on board with the idea of reincarnate. Got it. Okay.
If it's not going to like break the entire group like financially or whichever, I'm totally on board with that.
No, it really is just me selling the clockwork wand, which I
Yeah,
don't really have a large use for.
I've
That's
also got this.
160 GP. That's
And while usually
Yeah,
it would
we-
sell for
we
half
have
price, I would let
55.
that be bartered directly to the society in exchange for
Yeah.
the resources. So you would not lose the 50% markup on that.
and even then, even if it was 50%, that's 80. That's not too
That's
much.
most of it.
We
a
already
step.
have 55 in our stash, too.
I've
Yeah,
also
so-
got this really fancy bag, which I would be loath to part with, but I would do it if I needed to. So,
No,
not that
the,
I prefer to do that, but
the
So
reincarnate
Knaven,
spell itself is fine.
so Knaven comes back, leading about you see 2 goblins, 2 humans. It looks like helping him out. I think I have pictures of most of them. Yes. These 2 are here to help, as are this one, and I'll describe these all to get them all shown.
I trust the goblin implicitly.
So
I
you
trust
have
both of them implicitly.
you have 2 goblins, one who looks very seasoned and weathered. He's not currently carrying the skull or the sword, but dressed in that kind of leather armor, all kinds of weird bones and metal charms on their earrings, some bone armor as well. And the other one looks a lot younger, looks like has to be like held back from running off and exploring everything that looks interesting. Always seems to be following birds around with her eyes. Everywhere there's a bird, she is watching it and seems like she wants to fly herself. And then the other 2, they look more sullen. They're dressed a little more normally for the area here, almost like, but it does look like they're feeling like it's beneath them to come help carry stuff. But they're all here, and they have a litter among them to help carry Vanarel's corpse, and some of them also help with supplies. Probably enough to let Daegron help support Aldrin himself a little more easily. And they lead you through the city, and Kenevin is pointing out some things along the way. Mainly a couple of a couple stores he says that are known for fair dealings, ones that he likes to go to when he needs supplies. Just and a couple of the ones he says to be wary of, and don't take your business there. It seems like he's trying to be a tour guide, but it is all business. All just the useful shops, and no landmarks, not even any like navigation aids. So you're not sure how well you could follow his hints. And as you get close, you see a walled compound of multiple buildings and with a fancy garden. A single half-elven guard stands outside, and Kenevin nods and says, "Eberus, these are our guests. Please grant them the usual courtesies when coming and going." He does lead you across the courtyard, and we have another picture for this area. Let me grab that for you. Put you on this map. Whoops. So he brings you into this large compound here. He points over to... he leads you around this whole complex to the far smallest building in back and says, this is the Hardakin house. This will be yours for at least the next 3 days. You can rest here. You can eat here. We can bring food out, or you can join us in the main lodge for dinner. We will give you your space as much you need. We know you are not our agents. You are not under any of our orders, but we do know you had something you wanted to ask us about. We are happy to consult, but please tell us when you are ready. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Yes, actually. I know of a reincarnation ritual, but I don't know if there might be somebody in the city who might be able to help.
Ah, you seek to help your friend here. Very noble. Do you know what religion he was?
Wayne said Vanarel. Agnostic, not adversarial agnostic.
Yes, he was traveling with me. I'm a member of the Deliberate Journey, very close to Desna. We wander with purpose.
So a Desnan might have a greater connection. That is more easily done than others. I will inquire. I would suspect it's going to be roughly 150 gold for their services. Is that something you can handle?
Do you know where I can offload a wand or two to help cover that cost?
Yes. A couple of those stores I showed, or if they are useful, we could buy them from you.
I do have a clockwork wand, which I do find useful, just not directly for me.
I hate to be so mercantile about this, but I will need to have my wife assess the wand first and give a fair value. Can you
That's
follow
fine.
me into the manor?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go.
So he leads you into the sitting room here.
Are we going to have pogs for this map, or is it just...
I don't need to have direct locations. I'll move the party there.
Oh, okay.
I will say we also have a wand of create food in our bag that's a decent
that
chunk of
is-
change.
That's fair.
Wand of Great Food is something we should probably try to hang on to. I'll be honest.
Yeah, it's good, but
And so he will
It-
introduce you to a lady sitting there, Sheila, our guest from Chakakoth Island. They had a death along the way, and before they deal with what they came here for, they are looking to raise some funds to pay for a reincarnation. They have a couple of wands they were wanting to barter, and he then kind of steps back out of the room. She looks up at you all. Oh, I apologize for the levity that you find me in here. I tend to enjoy a glass of wine this time of day, but this is more serious. Please, come in. Take a seat.
I
What
do
were you?
so, of course.
If you want drink, I can offer, but I am not trying to make light of your situation. I do not know your customs.
I think I'm fine for now. Mostly just want to get this sorted and then probably take a nap.
Something just. I don't want anything with alcohol at this point. Some water would be nice.
She gestures for a servant. You see her make some hand signs that are a little unusual to you. And the person comes back with a glass of water for you.
I'm sure Ordwy would find it more appropriate to have a little to honor the fallen. That's not really.
do you have spirits of any sort? Any of them will do.
Any and all types. She actually gestures you over to the sideboard to pour your own drink. Everything is well labeled. You can tell it's a very well appointed, pretty wealthy looking sideboard of alcohol here.
I assume he looks at the wall and is like, all this trash. Looks at the one on the bottom left and is like tucked away, dusty bottle. Some good stuff. It's like bottom shelf stuff from like ages ago.
I think the thing is he likes grog and things like that, which is usually rum mixed. So I think he looks for a rum, and it's probably a dustier one that doesn't get touched as much.
I hear you have some wands you wish to barter. May I see them?
Yes. I'm going to pull out the Clockwork Wand and the Wand of Grease. Both wands I haven't really found any uses for.
Okay.
But are in general useful.
Let's see. So the Clockwork Wand has the value of 160. That one, I think she would be willing to take off for the full 160, and any surplus over the cost of hiring the priest and the cost of the ritual, she would return to you. So if you're comfortable with that, you can keep the Wand of Grease, and we'll just sell that one off.
That sounds fine to me. I could use the grease within like a much more silly situation.
Well, I mean, in all fairness, that clockwork one is, to anyone who actually knows anything about something, is probably way more interesting.
That's
It is.
why I think
very
she's
good.
willing to buy that one at full cost rather than any sort of discounted rate. That's a fancier item that
It really is.
she knows
It's
they could
so
get good
good,
use out of.
like,
Really a luxury item. Sell it.
Yep,
it really is a
so
luxury item.
I believe we could get 2 possible priests here, or one of them might be more of what you would consider a druid of some kind, but those tend to be the practitioners that deal in reincarnation more than raise dead. I understand with your funds, you are making the only choice you can. One of them
Yes.
I know would be successful, but would probably cost about 30 gold pieces on top of the ritual cost. The other one, the gods do not always provide, but would come here for only 5 gold.
I think we want a sure thing in this. This isn't something we want to play around with.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to speak for. Look to
I-
Daegron.
We've got the coin.
Okay.
I would like to have my friend back. Yes.
So, yes, in that case, hey, Vanarel, roll me a d20.
Oh,
Here it comes. Ooh.
Ooh.
High's good, right? High's good.
High is
Beyond
That is
brave.
interesting.
high is interesting. I'm
True,
gonna
true. Good point.
I'll even let you pick. You can take an uncommon or a rare ancestry of your choice. It cannot be what you were.
Go with the Shuni. Go with the Shuni.
Is it possible to use a hero point on it? No, this one cannot. I believe Nilbog is awarding a hero point to someone. Who would you like to give that one to, Nilbog?
An uncommon or rare ancestry.
We'll let you do that in the background. We'll come back to that. So Vanarel's got a hero point now as well. Let me add that on.
I mean, we can go get set up in that cottage if we'd
Yes.
like.
Yeah, so Vanarel is coming back to life. You do not need to make a new character. You just need to change your ancestry, which would impact any ancestry feats and your ability boosts. Those might
Right.
get swapped around. Hopefully the art is still close enough. We'll find out.
Gonna
and so
wait a
that
few battles
costed
so
a
we can get a new
total.
one.
That cost 105 of your gold. So you will be getting 55 back from that sale. So you can add that to your stash. You are back at 1 HP,
I'll
no
do that.
spells prepared. You are clumsy 2, drained 2, and enfeebled 2 for 1 week. I will put those on you. Let me drag you out onto the map. So usually that ritual would have needed to have some secondary casters, some primary casters, but with the extra gold you're paying, we're basically making that be a guaranteed. And the level 3 version of the ritual, which is what you were using here, could get anyone up to 8th level. So you were well within the range of what it can handle. So let me just start changing some of your conditions here. You are no longer dead.
The most important one, some would say.
Yep. So dead is hopefully coming off of you. There we go. Minus dead. But you are clumsy 2, drained 2, enfeebled 2 for a week as you get used to your new body.
We're all going to have a serious talk about reviving the healer early and often, y'all.
Yep.
That's fine.
I think I'm gonna have to find some way to give Libby some kind of ability to at least bring people back up.
So, Libby, if you, at 4th level, there's a Lesson of Life, which would give you a healing. I don't know if it's in character for you, but it is a witch feat, which gives somebody fast healing. It's pretty solid. It's a single action.
Neat.
And so, Vanarel, when you know what you are, let us know. I will keep things moving in the meantime.
Okay, I have it narrowed down to 2, so I'll let you know.
Suspense is killing me.
So some time has passed. You know, they have given you some space for, have this ritual happen. Dinner time comes about, though, and Kanaven comes back over to the house where you're staying and asks if you would like to have dinner at the lodge or if you'd like to have dinner brought over to you.
At this time, everyone is revived.
Yes.
Our
Brought over
hosts-
to the, please.
Oh, okay.
Well, at
They-
least me and Calden will take ours here.
Oh, that makes sense. They've been rather gracious. I feel like we should at least say hi. They have helped us get our friend back. Though I completely understand.
Feel free. Don't let us keep you.
After you wake Libby, she's like, "Oh, I guess I can go and sit at the table with everyone."
So at least Libby and I will be heading over, it sounds
Yep.
like.
I'm putting, in Vanarel, where do you want to have dinner?
Well, I mean, I'd still like to have dinner with the others.
I mean, Daegron and Caldrell are staying back at the guest house. Libbiel and Dezi are going to the main lodge.
I'll I'll go to the main lodge with them, although maybe it'll be a little slow and
Vanarel strikes me as the kind of person who would just push himself anyway.
yeah, there's a lot of like bumping into doorways and things like that, but still trying to move forward and present themselves.
So Kane then, leads the three of you over. Oh, I have 2 copies of Vanarel on the map now. Let me fix that.
Well, one of you is dead, so that's fine.
So Kane then leads the three of you to the main place, and you see a pair of the pair of goblins actually bringing some trays of food over for Daegron and his brother. It's a good dinner. It's some roast of some kind of animal. You're not quite sure you know what it is. A good salad, some wine, some water if those who do not want wine. Some very nicely fresh baked bread. It does seem like good quality food, probably better than you've ever had on the island. And Sheila, at least, is going to ask, are you able to talk about what brought you here, or do you still need some more time?
I would like to do some research on our own first before I decide whether or not I even should approach the Pathfinder Society for help with this particular deed.
What can I direct you to for your research then? We have a small library. If you need something more specific, though, I might need to direct you around the town. Or you can do it your own. I do not mean to.
Magical artifacts that are of sinister varieties, perhaps.
She looks nervous, or more anxious, like she wants to jump in and help, but does not seem to, does not want to overstep until you're willing to share.
I just look at Dezi. What do you think, Dezi? Should we just tell them? I am inclined to not want to be, like, burden people, but, like, do you think we should just ask for help?
Feels like we came all this way for more than just returning a ship.
Daegron, do you have any? Well, are you at the table? I don't think.
No,
you are,
he's back in the cottage.
Okay.
But his thoughts on it, if you would have asked him beforehand, were they've already helped us. It seems prudent to get some sort of help when this is something that's beyond us.
Yeah, I think she would have wanted to talk to them privately. If like, okay, what is our approach here? Mostly, so she's going like grit her teeth and kind of just, all right, if you really feel like being a busybody, then yes. If you feel like you could help and feel like you're too curious to say no, I think we can let you in on what we're doing. Desi, what would be your opinion about like?
Yeah, they have been helpful. I think it's probably at this point we could use the help. I don't think we're gonna find somebody that seems more welcoming at this point. So
Yeah,
I'd
well,
say we should share.
I just want them to understand that this is dangerous, and we will be doing it alone if they do not feel like they can risk such danger in their lives.
So she does look like, she feels like you're about to start telling her more about what's going on. And she definitely looks maybe slightly a little off-put by some of the way you were phrasing some of those things there, being a busybody and all those things. But you can tell in some sense the curiosity of what this item is and whether or not they can help or not does seem to be overriding her, instant retort or anger about the way it was being phrased.
Should I tell the story, Libby?
Yeah,
See you
I'll
last.
do the props. Don't worry about it. Just give me a nudge when you want to be, you know.
She says, I know Sister Vanda mentioned you were instrumental in thwarting a crisis on the island and had some concerns she was unwilling to put into writing. I know one of ours, Eindo, was curious about Rusthenge, and when Eindo is curious, that means there's something mysterious and dangerous afoot. The former high priest was cautious of our society, and we had enough other problems, so we put that on hold. It
Yes,
sounds like
well-
things have risen to a head, though. What can you tell us?
We journeyed to Rusthenge because one of the people from Stoneholm showed up in our town, seemingly saying they were all dead and there was something going on. When we got there, we basically, with time, discovered that the priesthood had been taken over, the priest of Gorham there had been taken over by some malevolent force that was looking to resurrect Tsar Azmak. Are you familiar with that name?
No, I have not heard that one.
He's a deceased demon lord. Long history there, but I'm sure books will tell you more, probably more than we know on that too. Well, it turns out somebody from Magnimar, Lord Metramar, had journeyed there and tried to resurrect this Tsar Azmak using the work of his, using the knowledge of his great grandfather who had journeyed with Tsar Azmak previously. The key component to all of this is the item he was using to do this was the actual horn of Tsar Azmak. And we have that item, and we have it safe for now, but it does seem to be summoning probably his minions periodically. We've stopped that for the time being, but we need to find a way to deal with that. And I believe the people in Stoneholm would like to ideally seal off Rusthenge.
Libby is going to thunk the horn on the table when it's mentioned.
Sheila's eyes widen. The horn of a demon lord? In my lodge here? Oh, everyone's going to want to come visit, even if it's not here anymore. The fact that it's been here. Ooh. But you say it summons demons. That's not good.
Periodically,
Well-
probably about one encounter a month, but it's going to escalate in danger, which is why we want to do this as hastily as possible.
Perhaps the way to put it is demons are pursuing it.
Yeah, perhaps.
I see. May I hold it?
I mean, sure.
So, she picks it up, she investigates it, she looks at it, she notices the nearly burning holy symbol that you've wrapped around it. It does the holy symbol looks smaller than it had 3 days ago. You can tell it will not last forever the way you've found it. And then she gives it back. I will research what we have overnight. I will have some thoughts in the morning of what you can look into deeper.
You mind if I also look over the materials?
Of course, you may. And so the rest of dinner passes, but yeah, what else did you want to ask her about that?
I was going to ask, basically, if she had any books on Tsar Azmak before, or are we going to need to go to a library trip soon?
I do not recognize that name. I suspect we may find a little about stealing practices or suppression in our library here of things we can try. We may find commonalities of different artifacts of methods of disposal. I do not think our library would have the precise details for this one.
Yeah, I'm looking to throw it in the metaphorical volcano to get rid of it.
Yes, I can understand that. There are a couple of libraries in town that may have more information. There is also the library at the Grand Lodge in Absalom that we might be able to send a message for extra help on, of course, with your own permission at that point. And finally, our expert on such things, he is off far to the east. My first inclination would be to try to send you all to him after you've done whatever research you can, assuming you need more help. But
Well, maybe refresh the holy symbol with perhaps another as well.
yes,
Likely someone who works well with. Um, I forgot the holy symbol. Who is supposed to be of?
I think
know
you
it's-
used Kalians is what Ordwe had to offer. But you
Yeah,
might be able to
Caden
find a
Kalian.
better match for anti-demon of some type.
Yeah, someone who works well with Caden Kalian and has more anti-demon aspects to them.
And we'll probably need some additional holy water, preferably a high proof. It seemed to work last time.
She chuckles a
doesn't
little at
work
the high
well.
proof, but
Yeah, it doesn't last long, but it is very nice.
Who is this well, I guess more importantly, where far to the east is this?
Indo. Indo is. I won't bore you with the society's leadership structure. It is complicated and complicated. But he is one of the faction leaders that specializes in the sealing and suppressing of ancient artifacts. He is often the voice of reason trying to stop some of our archaeological activities, some of our excavations. He's the one telling us, are we sure we should be doing this? But he has a lot of knowledge on such matters. He is currently out far to the east, though. An ancient city was recently rediscovered in the Thinendar forest. And, of course, he is worried about what may be discovered and released.
Do I know where the Finindar forest is?
You can give me, I guess, a society check on that? Yeah. Yes, you do know where that is. Let me check if it's even on the world map I had prepped or if we're off the map. We are off the map I had prepped. I will share the map that we used at the beginning of the campaign, and I'll ping roughly how much further west it is. So this is the map of kind of the region you've been in. You started off at Chakrakroth Isle here, and you're currently in Magnimar. To your best guess, Thinendar Forest is around. I can't even ping. It's off the gridded portion of the map. Yeah, it's probably at least a full map width of the colored portion of the map further off the map to the east.
So quite a journey.
Yes.
Ahead of us.
You know that it is beyond. So as you head further east here, eventually you will hit the Gravelands. You'll hit the Isle of Dread. You will hit Keonan and Razmir, and further beyond that, you'd get into Sarkorsis and Numeria, and then you kind of get to Brevoy, the River Kingdoms, and this area of the world. So it is far across the map. Almost imagine if it was a real-world map, going from like France over to Mongolia might be about the right distance.
So Desi's going to look a little skeptical here and be like, I understand he's your expert, but that journey seems like it would take months. Is this really the best course of action to find out about this?
Libby blinks. Oh yeah, months are a long time, right?
We have ways. Once we decide if this is needed or not, I can tell you the details. But we can get you there, I am fairly certain, in one day. Getting back might take the usual amount of time, however.
That seems convenient.
I mean, I guess we could think about where we might be journeying on the way back if this doesn't or does work. To find out. But I, you can get us there in a day. Uh, I, I will not ask how. Obviously,
I will. I want to know.
You want to keep that secret for now, and I understand you barely know us as well. That's pretty amazing.
In the morning, after we've done some of our research, if you still wish to know, we can discuss those details. She does look a little conflicted over needing to decide how important is this artifact to contain. You know, how dangerous is it if it's left here in the city for a long time while you're researching it versus if you're researching it off in the middle of an abandoned wilderness, even if there's other Pathfinder agents around researching it, she feels safer than having it in a city where there might be civilians at risk. So you can tell she's at least balancing the sharing a secret with you versus also the lives of the innocents in the area here. The party is having dinner with Sheila Heidmarch, and we're discussing what to do with the Horn of Rust, trying to figure out how they can proceed on. They're going to do some research now, I think, before they go to bed, and we'll pick up in the morning after we get let's get, I guess, an Arcana or a Religion or an Occultism check from Libbiel for what you would have found in the libraries before going to bed.
I'm gonna boost it with the Discern Secrets from my patron, and so that's at a +1, I believe.
Okay.
And let's do the Arcana. Discern Secrets is on. Thank you.
You're doing some reading, and you can tell that an artifact of this level is going to be complicated to destroy, and you would need more details than you have here. Putting some information together. I mean, Sheila's been in the library reading as well, and she might share a couple notes with you. And I think, she says, looking at other disposals of other metallic demon parts that we've encountered, there's a pattern to them. It needs to be cleaned with something, heated with something, and then rapidly cooled.
Okay.
I feel that pattern will be true, but the precise details of what those 3 items are, I do not see a pattern from past ones to even predict what it may be.
So the big goal for us would be to identify the ingredients that we need to take this cake.
And I will warn you, from looking at these, at least 2 of them tend to be almost impossible. One of them often looks reasonable, but the other 2, often, the tears of a god, the fruit of some tree that only grows on one place on an outer plane, a molten concoction of various different sky metals, the sweat of a lazy man, all kinds of odd things, and I don't see a pattern to them other than just them being. Each one feels like it would be the quest of a lifetime to figure out, let alone all 3.
Well, it's a good thing that I have a few lifetimes to spend on this. At the very least, I'd like to neutralize this to the point where it's not an active threat to my home.
Yes. I do think from our research, the ceiling chests that Eindo has been working on, it feels like it is likely to be strong enough to seal one of these, to stop its attraction to other demons or whatever, or its summoning of demons. I I think it is better than equal odds that at least that chest would buy you enough time to handle this.
I'm just going to have to kind of put my faith in that. In fact,
So I will continue some research into the evening, and I will let you know what I find in the morning. And
Okay.
we will skip over to morning now, so everyone can be fully rested. I assume you have enough spells left to fully heal all the remaining damage on the party for everyone, so you can top that all off.
I would like to take an invest. Though while Libby was researching, I kind of want to be looking over Vanarel because they just died and came back. I want to make sure he's okay.
Yeah, you can give the medicine check.
Bad at this, but we'll try.
I'm only feeling a little off.
Very good. Like I said.
You can tell Vanarel is alive. He's not undead. You're positive of that. So the ritual was not an unholy thing. You can tell Vanarel is weakened for a while. That the stress of dying and coming back, you've heard, takes days to a week to fully recover from. But Vanarel, do you want to share any details about any change to appearance,
Oh,
or is that still in flux?
yeah. No, well, it may be in flux for Vanarel, but it's solidified behind the scenes. Yeah, Vanarel appears maybe a little bit taller, like dying and coming back may have maybe decompressed his spine just a little bit. His eyes are still that straight black, but you can almost see like pupils in there now, with like vertical slits, and his teeth are looking a little more pointed. Not like giant monstrous fangs, but they do appear a bit more, jagged almost. And he's speaking a little differently, almost like I mean, maybe it's the different teeth, maybe it's something else, but it's still Vanarel when you talk to him, when you hear him. There's just something strange in the there's a little bit of like maybe like a scale pattern sort of starting to emerge from different parts of his skin that you can see, like around like the near the knuckles on his hands, along like the his outer forearm by the elbows, and maybe like a little bit almost like where some people would grow sideburns on their face. It's sort of like starting to scale up a little bit along the edges of his face.
So Dezi would know that reincarnate can bring you back as something different. So I think that check went okay. I'm not sure Vanarel would know what Vanarel came back as, so I think Dezi's going to try to figure out what they might have reincarnated.
Yeah, I would say with that medicine check you already rolled, you can tell there is something reptilian. You probably can't tell exactly. Is this a kobold? Is this like some sort of beastkin of lizard of some kind? Is it a lizard folk crossed with the Dromar? You probably wouldn't jump to the Vishkanya as the first hypothesis, because that's more out there and more rare. But maybe over time and over talking, you'd probably figure it out. But it would not have been the first thing that you would have encountered. Like
I'll share
the
what I
lizard folk
know.
probably would have been the most common thought.
I'll share what I know with Vanarel and like list some of the more common, reptilian types, just so they know. I mean, it's got to be pretty traumatic to be come back from the dead as something different. So.
Maybe it had something to do with those creatures. They were reptilian or lizard, snake. I'm not sure. They were strange.
They were sharks.
You're right.
Sharks?
Maybe I'm growing shark scales.
Do you feel better at swimming?
Actually, no idea. Never mind.
I haven't had much of a chance to try, but now Vanarel kind of like just glances out the window at the ocean in the distance.
Why don't you give it some
it.
time?
Yeah.
We just got you
Take it
back.
easy.
If you run out there and die in the wake again,
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'll wait until I'm fully feeling like myself again before I. Well, I mean, maybe this will just go away. Maybe this is just a part of the temporary condition of coming back to life.
I mean, I think we'd know that if they'd probably tell you what the side effects are as they cast the spell like a doctor. They just don't have to list as many.
Yeah. I'll let everyone know if something changes more drastically than what just happened. And I can't thank you three enough either. I mean, I don't know what hit me. I mean, aside from one of those shark things on the ship, but waking up here and then slowly finding out what you did for me. Thank you, friends. I
You would have
can't
did it
express
for
that.
With the least we can do. You're one of us.
you would have did it for any one of us, so it's really not that big of a deal.
And if I didn't get you back here, then there would be no one to bandage my wounds. So
I'm gonna put this potion. I root through our general party supplies. I'm gonna put this new healing potion here. Just next time. I know it's hard to remember in the heat of battle, but if you can get me up quicker, I can try to do my best to make sure this doesn't happen again.
I've changed up Bia a little bit. Bia should be able to heal us a little now. Nothing that we can rely on, but at the very least, it will be a little easier to spread the burden around of keeping us all up. Also, I'm going to explain to you guys a spell I got because, like, I don't think we're going to split up too much, but just in case, I have a spell that if you call my name, I will be able to hear you and know where you're at. So you have to call my full name, which is Libbiel Everdreamer. But if you do so, I should know that you're trying to contact me.
do you have a middle name?
No,
Oh, okay.
we weren't that rich. Come on. So I'm going to
Got it.
expend B Witch Signal, which is B-Man's infamous thing. Just slightly renamed because I felt like it.
And so in the morning, you are invited back to breakfast. And there was no business discussed over breakfast. You can tell that Sheila and Kenaven have maybe regained some of their composure from the events of yesterday. You can tell that they are both competent leaders here, and even having a piece of a demon lord show up on their doorstep with a deceased stranger, was enough to only rattle them for a couple of hours. But after clearing away breakfast, Sheila leads you into the study once again. So
Okay.
we have researched the item, and as I know Libbiel was discovering last night, our best beliefs is that this is a legitimate piece of a deceased demon lord, and we need to ensure it does not fall back into demonic hands. We got hints of a destruction technique, and she does hand over the notes we discussed. I think I have it in a journal for you. Let me find it. Where did I put this? Yes. So, Figure ownership. I think you can, let's see, all of them are observers. And this one as well. So we have Horn of Rust, some known properties. This is stuff you already knew from before, but I just made it into a journal page that you should have access to now. This rusted coiled horn is sizable, appearing in shape to a ram's horn, but measuring 2 feet in diameter. Flakes of rust constantly fall off it, and it leaves hands with a rusty red stain. You already know it makes you be enfeebled 1 if you're not chaotic evil, and enfeebled 2 or stupefied if lawful or good. Of course, this comes from pre-master, so we're hand-waving alignments to make sense for characters' personalities. This affects most of you. You know it attracts demons on a monthly cadence. You know it acts as a staff, but you've not figured out what spells it can have, and it seems to have some sort of disease-related power. Additionally, you have gotten a little bit of knowledge about destruction and containment. Currently soaked in holy water and bound in holy symbols, it's reducing the penalties for holding it by 1 step. It does appear to burn through the holy symbol. It's lasted a couple days, but you don't think it will last weeks. And for destruction, you have at least figured that much out. Some special cleaning agent to wash, then heated somehow, then rapidly cooled. All 3 require some special reagent, which needs further research.
So is this artifact of a importance level where we need to shortcut our journey, or are we walking across the continent?
I have two items to bring to your attention first.
Okay.
1, we can send you on our rapid way. We can discuss the details of that shortly. However, we are already hearing rumors in town about this horn, which is a surprise.
That is a
Stories
surprise.
do not reach here from the Isles, and I don't think you spread it around getting as cautious as you were being.
No, we had no desire or opportunity to really tell anybody about it.
I am planning to set a trap to learn more. I have an unusually shaped horn on display in my office. I'm looking forward to see who may start asking questions about it. Please keep your horn out of sight.
Do you have a temporary disguise spell we can use on it?
On the item?
Yes.
We could try some... I am not a caster, and neither is Kenevin. None of our current agents around are as well. But an illusory image, illusory object, might. As it's not attempting to change the artifact, I believe those spells are likely to work. We just do not have a caster for them at present. You might be able to find a wand or a scroll if you go shopping. I do not have one to offer here.
Okay. I will add that to the shopping list.
I would like to request you maybe spend 1 day here in town, outfitting yourselves for the journey, shopping, resting, helping your compatriot adjust to his new condition, and wait and see if we can find anything else out from the people who are tracking your item. Perhaps we can learn more from them.
Okay.
But after a day, I think we should send you on your way.
Yeah, if there comes to be a situation in which someone comes after us for it, where is our emergency meeting spot? I do not think necessarily coming back here would be the best idea.
This place was well filled.
Yes,
They know
but-
we're coming.
yeah. They know where we spent the night here, probably.
Our basement would be the first step on your fast journey. But I agree, if you want a different safe house in case of events, I'll have to think about that. Do you want a meeting place that's easy to spot for a person who does not know the city, or do you want a safe place?
I think an easy place for us to meet up that we all know to meet up in, to then move to here together.
I think the two easiest landmarks in the city, you have the lighthouse at the entrance to the harbor, or you have the Irespan, the giant bridge, both of which can be seen from most places in the city. I would say the lighthouse, while it's close to the port and the wharfs and a little busier, is probably still the safer area. The ruffians and underworld that thrive around the Irespan might be a bit more risky to use as your meeting place. That would be my advice, at least.
I think the lighthouse will do us fine. At the very least, the safer area will give us a bit of a harbor in which we can maybe rally some allies to get us out of here.
Yeah, so the lighthouse is here, and the Irespan would be over here.
Yeah, I think we're going to choose the lighthouse just because the harbor facts.
So the plan would be to, if something happens, to meet up there and then make sure we have a group to come back here, so we're safe.
Yeah, that way, at the very least, we're not running around like chickens with our heads cut off because we don't know the city.
Yeah, no, that's probably a good idea.
Where would you like to... What tasks do you have to accomplish in the city? I might be able to provide you with some advice while we wait and see what our rumors bear out.
Kind of an emergency survival kit in case this rapid transport has a bit of a possibility of failure. In case we get ejected into the wilderness somewhere. So like camping supplies would
Yes.
probably be a good idea.
I think I'd like to know more about where we're going and what the situation is there too. So if we do need specific prep for that, it might make sense to do that.
I'll,
Yeah.
what I can share about the location, Thinendar Forest is a forest on the edge of some rolling plains. The plains have been known to be inhabited by centaurs, who typically leave people alone as long as you don't intrude into their territory too much. The forest itself has been known to be inhabited by leshies, and is in a very odd forest. It's pines, but with blood red needles.
Anything between here and there have any demonic connection?
Demonic? Only with the alternate spelling. Ustalav is between here and there. Sorry, not Ustalav. Nidal is between here and there. They are under the auspices of the Lords of Midnight and all kinds of Velstrax. They are demons and fiends who delight in self-mutilation.
So not likely to help the ones who are going after us?
Probably not. They would not tend to work together. Further east, when you get to the Isle of Dread, the return of Tarbafon, the Whispering Tyrant, I don't think he...
Wild card.
I don't think he would help the demons, but he might be after the horn himself to utilize its power.
Yeah. He might be after the horn itself if he learns of it, which also would be a problem. So, at the very least, we have some ideas of like what we might be facing in the terms of interference.
You said you had a way to get us there quickly. Does that skip these areas that are dangerous to this sort of thing? Though obviously coming back through them is a very likely possibility.
As long as you follow our instructions, yes. You will bypass those locations. You will appear in our camp outside Finindar Forest. It will take you no more than a day.
I would
So
guess
it'd be up to our own competence to follow the instructions. We're screwed.
I
Libby.
also have a slight fear. Something is disturbing this path. That is why I cannot say whether or not it will still be available to return. And it might even have some complications along the route.
Yeah, we're going to need that emergency survival pack, a couple of potions, and a map. At the very, very minimum.
I think it's a good idea to stock up on supplies. This is a big city. We should probably also try to sell off some of our excess stuff that we can use and figure out what makes sense to get up for the journey along.
Daegron, do you want a cold iron axe?
This one should do me fine, but I do need to speak with somebody here in terms of finding lodging for my brother.
Yes. That would be another concern. Daegron's brother. You want to get into the story, or?
I could give them the quick. He's been suffering from an illness for the past, 8-ish months, I guess. It's been leaching his strength. His mind is still sharp, and he's been learned quite a bit. Sailing, navigation. He can write. I don't know if there'd be any need for him here, but he won't be able to come with me, and I need to seek out healing services here within Magnimar. If I'm going on this trip, I need to make sure he's somewhere, and I can leave him with some money, but preferably if he could do some clerical work or such, that would be optimal.
You say he has experience with exactly what?
Navigation, charts, mapping. He can read, write. I'm sure we could find any task for him around here. You guys have so many books, and he's just like points at like their library.
Yeah, I assume he can also do some math, since that's involved with navigation. So.
I will ask Kenevin if he needs someone to help handle other logistical tasks around the lodge. If not, we can try to ask some of the more reputable shipping companies. That feels like that might be the closest fit for his skills that still keep him at a desk, or at least indoors. Would that be to your liking?
Yes. I would feel more comfortable if I knew he was somewhere safe. Can we pay for lodging here? He's just one man, and I don't think he'll take up too much space.
Space can be a little precious at times. We are currently empty, very much. One person, I suspect we can make something work. Let me go over our ledgers and figure out what would be the fair price that we can offer. And as she is starting to write some notes, you hear cries ring out, and the smell of fire fills the air. What do you do?
Libby closes her eyes and goes back to work.
I think that trouble might be following us here.
I think your month estimate might have been slightly off. Yeah, I'll proceed cautiously towards the cries, given what happened.
Okay. Everyone else?
Yep, I'm Daegron's out in front.
Weapons drawn and all that, given past occurrences.
Yeah, Libby's going to draw her staff and follow behind.
So, yes, you see smoke rising from the building in the southwest corner, the smaller building over there. You smell chemicals. You see fire. You see a couple other people assembling a bucket brigade from the pond in front. What do you do?
I'm going to rush over to help.
Same.
Libby, hold on. Are we still with Sheila?
Yes. You were just coming out of the house here, so you were inside here.
Yeah.
You just came out the front door, so you can see this pretty easily.
Okay, so we're right here. Okay.
Yes, you were close.
And he calls over. He's like, Sheila, what is that building?
That is the Eurythanea house. That's our alchemist lab primarily.
Oh. Maybe they're seeking to blow the place up or something. All right, let's go. And he'll rush out.
Okay.
Yeah, Dezi was already headed down to start helping with the bucket brigade here.
Sure. I can take athletics or survival for the bucket brigade, or some other suggestion you may have.
Survival seems just fine.
Yep. Daegron's going with athletics.
Bia is going to help. Not Libby. Very specifically not Libby.
Dezi was not able to be particularly effective. Neither was Bia. Daegron, you're used to hard labor. Moving buckets is no problem for you. Vanarel, are you helping in any way?
I am. I would instinctively, I think, just try to join in with the bucket brigade. But Vanarel is learning very quickly that he is still really sore. I guess something might have happened to him. That said, he's still going to give it a shot. With the athletics, trying just to load up the buckets as best he can. Oh, I think that was supposed to be hidden. Apologies.
Yeah, if you want to re-roll that one hidden, I'll let you re-roll it as a result.
All right, this time for sure.
Yep. The four of you work. It takes some time. You can tell that everyone here. Maybe it's the early morning. Maybe people were in the middle of their early training. Everyone seems sweaty and tired, and it takes longer than you would have liked. You see a couple more explosions go off inside the place, and most of the building looks in bad shape. Like the upper floors, which were residences, looks like they will not be livable for some time. But the fire is put out before everything inside explodes. So they made some progress toward it. And a dwarf comes out by the name of Lombrat Rios. Looks the four of you over. You're not Pathfinders. You're the guests here, right? Well, these are going to spoil soon if they don't get used, so Sheila said you could have them. And let's reduce the number. There we go. He does hand you some alchemical items from inside the place. Labeled. You don't need to identify these. You have 2 lesser elixirs of life and 2 moderate eagle eye elixirs.
Are they just thrown into the stash?
They're in the box I put on the page here. You can drag them to the stash or drag them to individual people.
Moving them to stash.
And while you're doing that, Kenevin comes kind of stomping over to you. Looks like he's angry about what's happening here, not angry with you. He scrawls something in a notebook, rips out a page, and hands it to you, and says, "Find those thieving arsonists." And he explains that the horn upstairs has been stolen. Not your horn, but the bait horn has been stolen. And
Wow,
the
that didn't
information
take long.
he gives you,
Yeah, I think we have priority. We take care of this.
he says, signs point to this being an inside job. And since you're not Pathfinders, he thinks you are the least likely to have been involved in the case. And the people who are currently at the manor, those are the 2 handouts you should have right now.
Ooh.
mean, I think searching the lab first to maybe figure out what happened there makes the most sense. We are right here.
And he also has 2 items to give you to possibly help in this investigation or your later journey. He hands you a pearly white spindle Aeon Stone and an Every Need pack. It's what I
Ooh,
would have
that's
equipped
interesting.
our regular agents with, but you can have it instead. You are helping us here. We are helping you. So the pearly white Aeon Stone, if you're not aware of it, it is a very popular item. It gives
Wow.
you 1 hit point per minute outside of combat, basically.
I won't contest the Aeon Stone at all if I can just like take that every need pack.
And yeah, the Every Need pack is interesting. So it basically can produce up to 8 gold pieces of any non-magic common item, after which it's empty. So it's kind of a infinite supply until you've used it up. You don't need to say what's in it, but it has exactly what you need until you've used up 8 gold pieces worth of supplies.
Yeah, I think I could use this intelligently.
Sure, if you want to grab the every need, that's fine. Who do we think makes most sense to have this one?
Why don't we just roll
Uh,
for it?
Between the party members, I think either Dezi or Daegron.
1, 2, 3, shoot!
Yeah, roll d20. Vanarel, if you wanted to roll on it too, go for it, dude.
Yeah, Vanarel also makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
Looks like Daegron's the high roll right now. That was private. That was a 2. So it
You
looks
can
like
reveal as a GM.
There we
yes,
go.
I can. I'll do that.
That's fine.
You rolled
Nice.
so low you didn't want to show
So,
anybody. We understand.
Daegron is now
Yeah.
the proud owner of a pearly white Aeon Stone.
Yeah, that's such a good
Excellent.
item. Just like for anybody, to be honest.
And so, how would you like to begin your investigation here?
I would like to interview some of the people.
Sure.
Let me look back at the
Maybe the ones over at the alchemy lab. Desi, you said you
Oh,
wanted
yeah.
to search around it.
Yeah,
I
I'd like to
closed
look
that
around.
note, and now it's not. In
Okay, let me see if I can change the ownership of that one in a way that's more useful. Configure ownership lets you all be observers. Do you see it now in the sidebar?
sidebar
Sorry.
in the
Be in
journal.
If you
journal.
go to journal, do you
I see
see
Horn
some?
of Rust in session 0.
Okay, no. So you don't see the one for this one. How do? Okay,
Yeah.
I'll just reshare it with you. That's that one, and here's the list of people. Those are the 2. Looks like you can go between the 2 of them within this one. I don't need to share both of them, but I will look at why it's not showing up in the sidebar for you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
if you want to ask people around or talk to people around the place while we'll do some looking around, that might make sense, I guess.
I'm gonna go with the novices first. Oh, okay. That's a lot more than I think you meant to.
Yep,
give us.
that's more than I'm gonna hide that now. It's too much. I tried.
That's fine. I'm gonna go talk with Ingrid, Hakim, and Hiki.
Okay, you met the 3 of them yesterday. They were the ones who were helping you with your luggage. So you're heading over to. So, me do it this way. So let's say if you're talking to people, let's put you kind of over where I just moved Libby. If you're investigating the alchemical lab, go where Dezi is. If you're talking to some other people, let me know. Or if you want to investigate where the horn was stolen from, we can put you inside. You can do more of these things. You're not limited to only one, but just what are you doing in the first time?
Daegron's going to help Desi.
Okay, Vanarel.
Now, I want to talk to witnesses. I will be going in to investigate the scene of the theft later.
Okay. we'll split up 2 and 2. I'll come help you, Libby.
Okay. We will start with
yeah.
we'll start with the 2 at the alchemist lab. Acrid smoke hangs in the air, and broken glass crunches underfoot. The still smoking, exploded corpse of a hefty bird lies in the middle of the lab, and burned feathers are scattered everywhere. Although many of the stone pieces of alchemical equipment came through the fire intact, the same cannot be said for the lab's bookshelves. The charred books crumbled when touched.
What's with this bird?
Does seem strange. I'm gonna. I mean, I'd like to look at the bird
Sure.
first. I
You can take
guess.
a nature check on that. Definitely, it's a vulture. Why it's here, you don't know.
And does it look like absolutely scorched all over?
The building or the bird? What are you
The
asking?
bird. Sorry.
I mean, the bird is mostly blown apart. It looks like it was very close to ground zero, if not ground zero.
So I guess also like what might have started the chain reaction of explosions. Presumably.
Yeah, I could take crafting, medicine, survival, or if you have any other lore that you think is appropriate, let me know.
Yeah, I can roll crafting.
Yeah, well, you can both tell that there's a fuse. You see the remnants of like some string left leading to the bird. And you're sure the bird was dead before the explosion. You think explosives were stuffed into the vulture corpse and lit with a very long fuse.
Does this bird fit in a halfling knapsack? It's evidence. It needs to go in there, so I'm gonna stuff it in.
You're gonna keep that?
I mean, it's evidence of the crime. Look, you saw it too, right? They clearly like, kind of were. You know how you make a turducken where you stuff? They did that with like explosives.
Who would ever do that to a turkey? You don't put other birds inside of it, but either way, you're gonna get your bag all dirty. It's disgusting.
No, it's a magical bag. I'll just fill it with water. It'll take a few days to do, but don't worry, it'll be fine.
If you say so, Dezi.
We'll jump over to Vanarel and Libbiel. Who would you want to talk to first?
I think we'll go from the top, and I want to start with the novices because I want to go up the hierarchy. So Ingrid.
Yeah, I mean, Ingrid and Tagima are standing together when you approach. Do you try to separate them? Do you let them stay together? How do you want to deal with? Do you want to spend your first round talking to both of them, or do you want it to be different time units?
I'm going to try to split them up. Hey guys, can I have your attention for a minute? One at a time. Can I talk to you off to the side?
Okay. So yeah, they kind of just nod, and Ingrid follows you over first.
Okay.
You're the new guest here, right? Thank you for helping put out the fire.
No problem. I've been asked to investigate what happened today. My interview with you is not an indictment of any kind of suspicion of you doing any kind of crime. I'm just trying to get everyone's story before we, start going after anyone specifically. I'm hoping maybe you guys saw like a third party come into the grounds or anything.
Well, Tagima and myself were out for a morning run when we saw Tiki fleeing from the Eurythnia house. She's always sneaking in there, even when it's not open lab hours. Everyone knows that she's mentored by Eki, and Eki broke into the Barakan house years ago before she became a Pathfinder. So what else can you expect from someone being mentored by a thief? And Ingrid's kind of already glaring at Tiki across the way.
Hey, we're not here to point fingers. We're here to just pick in facts, okay? And the fact is, you were with Tahim, Tahima, and you saw Kiki fleeing from the background house, right?
From the Eurythnia house, yes.
Rethnia house. Okay. And at the time, did you see anything? Oh, okay. Thank you for the spelling.
And you would recognize that name. That is the name of, the other Thessalonian kingdom. There was then Ederisil that you were nominally part of, and Eurythnia is the other modern-day Thessalonian kingdom. Why the house is named that, you don't know, but the house is named for the other Thessalonian kingdom. The other ones you've heard Barakon and you've heard Harakon. Those don't instantly recognizable as a kingdom to you, but you could believe they're provinces of some other country or something.
Okay. Okay. And about what time did these events occur?
Oh, just minutes before we were getting back from our run, we saw her running out, and then the place was on fire.
Okay. Is your morning run a part of your everyday ritual?
I wouldn't say every day. Our schedules here can be a little chaotic, but as often as we can, we try to go. Takima is much more conscientious about it than I am. On days that only I have free time, I don't tend to go.
That's understandable. And your relationship with Fahima, Kiki, and everyone else in the house?
Well, we're all novices here. I don't really know exactly what Tiki does. She's always off looking at birds or in the alchemy lab. I'm more in training as a sword fighter, as is Takima. We spend more time together as a result.
Okay. Sword fighter, huh? Sorry, it just lists her as a wizard.
Oh, I must have got that wrong. I'm sorry. I've been getting them confused. She would not be lying about that. That was
Okay,
the GM.
So they're practicing their adventuring skills.
Yes, yeah. The two of them practice their mentoring skills together. They're much more outdoors, much more adventurous. Tiki is much more intellectual or impulsive. Impulsive intellectual.
How many years have you been with the Pathfinder Society?
Not many. We're still only novices. In our first year here.
Okay.
And I can take from you and Vanarel, I can take crafting checks and perception checks. And Vanarel, did you have any questions you wanted to ask Ingrid while this was going on?
I was actually going to try to ask while Libby was talking with Ingrid. I was going to try to talk to Tagima.
Okay.
Essentially, I mean, I had like the same kind of questions in my mind that Libby just asked. Just kind of trying to get their story as well. Basically, trying like to see if it matches up.
Yep. So yeah, you'd be asking all the same questions. You're getting, answers that felt almost identical. They probably would not feel at odds until you and Libbiel compare answers. And give me, I guess we'll call it society, or maybe just a raw intelligence check for kind of what you will learn from comparing answers. And the two of you can both roll that. So Libbiel, you can tell it feels like they got their answers straight ahead of time. They are too perfect in alignment. They both were saying the exact same things about, Iki, and how because Iki broke into the Barakan house, that must mean that because you were mentored by a thief, you're a thief. They had too many things that were in perfect alignment. Additionally, Libbiel, you can tell that the stories they're giving are mixes of truth and false. Like, yes, Tiki is known for slipping into the Eurythnia house, but you actually don't think she was slipping in today from the stories. You think that was a lie now that they were saying. And Vanarel, with your crafting, right? Your crafting? Yes, your crafting. You do smell some accelerants on Tagima that you don't think would be explained by helping work to put out the fire.
Okay.
Okay.
So that will be
I would
the
like
end of the
to-
first unit of time. Where do the four of you want to go for the next unit of this investigation?
I'm
I
assuming
would
we're
like to
getting
interview
together to compare
Peter.
notes just
Yes,
briefly.
yeah, you can definitely compare notes quickly and then make your decision. So we'll move you all.
Just to kind of discuss this. So this is out of earshot of anyone else. So, from what you're going to give us the information? Sorry, I should ask that.
The
Or are
preliminary.
you withholding stuff?
I'm going to just tell our group preliminary from just 2 interviews. It seems Ingrid and Takima have something against Tiki. They're trying to blame it on her. Do I think necessarily that means they were the ones who lit the fire? Not necessarily, but Vanarel, you have anything to add to that?
No, I think you were pretty much dead on. Higima gave much the same kind of story, but there was a smell on them similar to what we smelled when the fire was going on, like it was some kind of chemical accelerant.
Okay, so
Do you smell that here? I say, and I'll pull the vulture out of my bag.
Pulls
We
out
think
the gross bird.
this stuff with explosives to
Where
set
did that come from?
from the building over there? This
I
is a
told
really
him not to put it in his
useful
bag.
pouch.
I assume he doesn't pull it fully out of the bag, just like brings it to the top.
The head poking out.
No, it's the whole thing.
There's no head.
You definitely don't smell the accelerants on it. However, you also think if this was
They
what
would
was
have been
lit,
burned
they
away.
would have burned off, and you probably would not smell them.
Yeah,
Well,
that makes sense. So no, nothing.
Smelling of accelerant is not the sort of evidence that we need for it, but we should make note of that. Make sure that, like, basically, we're going to keep note of that because honestly, it is kind of suspicious that they do smell of explosives currently.
I think maybe, well, who did you want to talk to next, or did you want to talk to people?
I want to keep talking to some people. Kiki would be my next one. Vanarel, are you going to be talking to anyone additionally?
Well, from what you had mentioned, it seemed like Ingrid and Takima were kind of casting some dispersion on both Tiki and on Eki, both of the goblins.
Yes, I think it's probably mostly a prejudice thing. Maybe
Yeah.
talk to Eki or maybe the other employees at the manor.
Maybe doing the manor makes sense, and maybe Daegron and I can investigate where the horn was before while we're all inside.
Keep
Okay.
an eye on those two, though. It sounds like they had something to do with this. We know it was lit on purpose as a distraction to steal the horn. Just be careful. We don't know if they're dangerous.
Remember, if you do need
Yeah.
us to rush over, say my full name and we'll be over there.
Sure, I just don't want you two
And
being
if you
too far
need
out of
help,
sight.
scream.
I can do the screaming very well, probably.
The two who are wandering off are the one with the really scary horn and the person who just died. So Desi's a little concerned about them going too far. So, you know.
Okay, I'm not going to move you on the map, but I will just go one at a time. Libbiel, who were you wanting to talk to?
Tiki.
Okay. So yeah, you see the very happy looking goblin we showed before. Let me put that picture back up, I guess, right now. She does not look so happy right now. Here's her picture. We have a better dressed compared to the one who's wearing skulls and armor. A little more of a traditional adventurer, alchemist. Some patched clothes, some holes in the trousers a little bit, but reasonably well dressed for a goblin. And she's looking depressed. She has charred feathers on the upper part of her outfit. You see some mud over her rest of her clothes, her knees and her the hems. Oh, this is horrible. That lab, it's my life. How did it blow up?
Hello, Tiki. Stitchfeather was your last name?
Yes, because
Yeah.
I like birds.
Yes, birds are great, honestly. We used to have a lot on the island. I would like to ask you some questions if you have some time.
Yeah,
Know that I
I
am
guess I can't go
investigating.
work in the lab, so I can answer some questions.
Yeah, know that I am investigating what happened here. But me talking to you is not us suspecting you of doing anything necessarily wrong. Just getting our facts straight by asking everyone what they saw this morning. Okay?
Okay.
So let's start from the top. Were you with anyone this morning?
No, I was up at dawn. I was,
Mm-hmm.
I had crossed the bridge. Oh, there's no bridge on the map here. That's funny. I'd crossed the bridge to over the Carp Pond to search for reeds and medicinal marsh plants on the center island. I
And then
guess
you uncollapsed the bridge so you can take it away, right?
no,
Yeah.
no, sorry. The Carp Pond. It's like 2 parks away outside of here. It's not in the compound. Um,
Oh,
and I wanted to watch some of the migrating birds that were flocking there. Then I was going to head further south into the marsh. But then I heard explosions and came running back.
did you see anyone along the way who could maybe cooperate that that's where you were?
Uh,
Again, just trying to dot my I's and cross my T's.
you don't cross keys. You don't. Do you?
I mean, yes.
Oh, maybe that's
Yeah,
why I
you
get
make
my
a T.
paperwork wrong.
Yeah, you make a T like this, and she's just going to draw a T on some paper that she was already taking notes from. Like this.
Oh,
Anyways,
yes. Sorry. No one I know, but there were people out. There were people, Longshanks, walking to work. There were people delivering milk. Um, people picking up trash in the streets.
okay.
All the usual things.
If it becomes necessary, I could perhaps interview them and see if they saw you. They likely will, just because who why would you tell me they were there if you know if it would interfere with your story, of course. So we're going to move along and ask about how your time here at the manor has been.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. I get to research birds and learn alchemy, and no one bothers all my stuffed birds in my dorm room. It's wonderful.
Did you have a stuffed vulture?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Do you know where it would be at this current time?
Oh, in my room. There's multiple vultures there. Hangbeak was one of my favorites.
Oh, Did Hangbeak have any identifying markers?
His beak hung really low. It's always looked like he
Does,
was
does,
like staring at you more.
does that sound somewhat familiar?
There is no head.
Yeah, it was blown up. Like his identifying features are kaboom.
Uh, any identifying patterns on, say, the feathers?
It's a vulture. It was all black.
Hmm.
And she points at
I
like one of
mean,
the feathers around her neck, like one of these.
okay. I'm just going to go with the assumption that they took her favorite vulture. Um. So, uh, how is your relationship with your other novices?
Oh, they're all great. We don't do much together, but they work hard. I work hard. We'll all be great agents someday.
Yeah. Libby grits her teeth. Oh,
Oh,
Oh, sweetie.
oh no.
You can give me a perception check for what else you've detected during this conversation with her, and we'll move on to the next person. Nothing more jumps out at you from what you've heard here. So we'll move on. Vanarel, who were you talking to or doing? What were you doing?
I was gonna go speak with the other goblin if she's around with Eki.
Sure. Let me get Eki's artwork up. Here we go. So Eki is the much older, more military-minded goblin. All kinds of crazy piercings and skulls turned into armor, or just like a pet. I don't know what that skull in her other hand is, unlike the one that's on her shoulder that looks like it's a vambrace of some kind. So you do find Eki. And Eki looks up at you, and what do you say?
Yeah, hi. We're just trying to try to find out what happened more fully with the fire. we we were just wondering where you might have been when the blaze broke out.
I was inside cleaning up from breakfast.
Okay, so you
And you would have seen her there. Yes,
right.
after. I know some longshanks think once a thief, always a thief, but I spent long time working for Pathfinders and learning so much. Learning and helping is more thrilling than stealing shinies. And Heidmarch Manor's my home. But I hear Tiki's being blamed for my past, and she's good Pathfinder. A bit weird about vultures, but good Pathfinder.
Yeah, we've heard some talk from some of the other students about Tiki. So we're just trying to maybe to verify some of that. I mean, does Tiki spend a lot of time in that house that burned?
Yes, when not looking at birds and not sleeping, often in that house, mixing up chemicals, learning alchemy. Smart goblin, not afraid of words.
Really?
Always writing formula, I think she call it. But words have power.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely, they do. What's your take? So you've been here for a long time. Uh, what's your take on some of the other uh, younger pathfinders, the novices, like Ingrid or Tagina?
All seem like they will be good agents. I know all seem distracted at times, but Aren't young always distracted over things?
That's very true. All right. Well, I guess that's all. I won't take up any more of your time. I know it's been an eventful day already.
Oh, very eventful. So much to do. Um, Give me a diplomacy or a society check to see what else you might kind of elicit from Eki.
What was your roll? I was trying just to make nice to get an insight.
Yeah, nothing extra. Onward to, let's do Daegron next.
Yeah, Daegron was heading with Dezi up to the room where the horn was stored.
Okay.
And I
You're
think
both-
as he
you're both
gets there, yeah, he's looking around. So is what entrances and exits are in this room? He's looking through the door they came through. Is there a window?
Let's see. So this would be, I believe it is where I have the party icon right now. The small circular room. So there's, looks like an open door to like a longer area. There's a door into the room to the more center of the house. There's a window overlooking the balcony or the porch.
Okay. He wants to go look around and see if he can see any sorts of intrusion along the window. And if he doesn't find anything there, he'll go to the door afterwards.
Sure, you can give me a perception check for that. While you're doing that,
Okay.
Dezi, what are you doing in this room?
Yeah, Desi's gonna look where the horn was stored, basically, and try to see, similar to what Dagon's doing, try to see if there's any indication that things were disturbed and where any intruder might have come in and left.
Sure. You can give me, for that, I would take Perception, Arcana, or Thievery. So, Dezi, you do spot a couple things. A couple things more than Daegron spotted. So the first thing you notice is that the rest of the office is untouched. Only this horn that was like right next to some very expensive and easily sellable like knickknacks. The horn was taken. Nothing else was taken. Additionally, you see that there is a painted rune on the window that you think was able to disable some type of ward or sensor for the room. And you can tell, you're pretty sure people came in through the window, and you do see that there's a branch on a tree that kind of leads into the house here over that porch. And
Sure, I mean, I'm gonna look around. So it seems like they maybe came across that tree.
it looks like that. Daegron, you think you might be able to kind of recreate the thief's escape route with some athletics or survival.
Oh yeah, he's gonna go
Dezi
for a
too,
full
but I
reenactment.
think that probably matches Daegron's skills more.
I'm good at survival, so
Okay, you want to try it as well? You're free to try. Daegron, though, you do manage to kind of parkour your way out the window onto the tree, going tree limb to tree limb. And basically, you can tell this can get you all the way out of the walled compound without going back to the ground. And along the way, you do find a number of silk threads of blue and gold that you think
Blue and
probably
gold,
were
okay.
left behind by whoever stole the item.
Okay, he grabs a couple of those to give to Dezi, and makes note of them.
Yeah, Dezi tried to follow and just couldn't get up to the tree to start with.
it's the height. It's always getting in my way.
It's hard jumping between the branches. Yeah, so he'll come back along and with a handful of these silk threads, hand them over to Dezi and go, it looks like that's the way they went. Gold and blue silk? Is anybody here wearing that, or?
Guess we can talk to a few more people. I don't remember. I mean, I didn't talk to Ingrid or Takima, but maybe we should take a look. Then again, if they were setting the explosion, they probably weren't the ones in here.
Yeah, someone got here in that time. How long did it take me roughly to like do that trek?
It probably took you, because you were like spotting limb to limb and looking for maybe where you saw more spots of the blue and gold silk. It probably took you a minute or two, but you think if you had scouted this and like practiced it or rehearsed it in your mind, it would have just been, 30 seconds for,
Okay, yeah.
for a capable
Yeah.
thief. For you, maybe it was more like 5 to 10 minutes to recreate the path, but you're pretty sure, for a cat burglar, from at least what you think they could do, this looked like an easy path.
Can I
Yeah,
tell
and he
anything?
says, go on.
I was going to say, can I tell anything more about the rune specifically, or was just the fact that it's there kind of the main thing that I got from that?
You can
See.
tell that there is an electric rune designed to stop intruders that would have done a lot of damage, but this looks like this disabled that.
I guess it's probably time to reconvene and figure out.
It does look like it was like a water soluble paint that you think the first good rainstorm, or even possibly if the bucket brigade had been splashing water every which way, might have actually gotten rid of it before it could be detected. But it was there to be seen. So why don't we have the four of you reconvene, share your notes. We'll probably be wrapping up very shortly for the night, but let's at least have you go over what your current hypotheses are. I think we'll still probably I think you probably still want one more round of investigation at least. I think there's enough leads to still follow up, but let's have you at least articulate what you currently know, what you want to know, so we can have a more easy time picking this up next week.
So yeah, we found evidence that they came in through a window using a magical rune, and Daegron did some amazing acrobatics through the trees, and found some blue and gold silk. I don't know if you know if either any of the people you've interviewed were wearing anything like that.
Were they?
None of them that you noticed. No, they weren't wearing silk. They were all wearing much heavier wearing clothes.
Okay. So Libby's going to pipe up. Okay, so I'm going to go out on a limb here and say the fire started by the two apprentices to bully the third apprentice was unrelated to the theft necessarily, but probably encouraged by another party, likely someone of higher rank, for it to happen. I haven't interviewed everyone else yet, but I'm suspecting maybe some of the manor staff made the apprentices decide to attempt this as a, wouldn't say hazing, just really just bullying sort of situation where that vulture we found, that was Tiki's probably her favorite one. The way she speaks about them, I don't think she's willing to blow them up.
I mean, these certainly seem like coordinated events. I don't think they're unrelated. My assumption is it was probably a distraction.
Also, the blue and gold colors, I believe those are just the colors of Zen Adrasel. So whoever we're dealing with is probably linked to Zen Adrasel. I have a feeling that maybe I should talk to the cook, who's a Varisian. And see what they were doing.
I'm going to suggest we at least briefly tell Sheila what we found so far.
They may want to keep an eye on those apprentices. They could have been bullying, or the vulture may have been taken to make us think it was the goblin who did it. They seem to be trying to play on old prejudices.
Did we want to maybe lean into them a little harder, saying, I assume they were put up to this by somebody. It's not a coincidence those things happen at the same time.
Yeah, I think it was
Whether
put
they
up.
knew everything, yeah. I think Libby's right. They may have been rubes.
They were probably used as a distraction for someone else of much greater skill to climb in through the window.
Sure, but somebody must have used them. They must have been
Yeah.
put up to this by somebody, and knowing who that was would be useful.
Yes. So I will continue my interviews. So if you do want to take this to um, Sheila and maybe Sir Canavan.
So yes, we will pick up the discussion with this next week. One other thing, before next session, please level to level 4. And
Oh,
we'll go
yeah.
over what you get from that
Good.
start of next session as well, to kind of get everyone caught up. But you will level to 4 here, and we will pick up the investigation next week.